All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the wake up call with myself, Alex, and hopefully Alvarez momentarily. We got a big one for you today, and we dare to say that alt season has started. All right. The top story of the day: Coinbase. The SEC case against Coinbase has officially been dropped. What are your thoughts on this, Alex?
Uh, it's good news. Those are my thoughts. Listen. It's a sign of things to come. It's a sign of the times that the old is gone and the new is here. And so anti crypto, all that's in the past, and we have a pro crypto president, a pro crypto administration, and things like and Gary Gensler, thank God, is gone. And so things like this it's just a good thing. How much does it affect you and I? Probably not all that much, but it has an effect on the entire market. So thumbs up.
Everything is something, and here is the leader of the
Coinbase.
SEC and his.
Well, today's a really good day because we just heard from the SEC staff that they're planning to withdraw their litigation against Coinbase. Now, this still needs to be approved by the SEC commissioners, but we're hoping that happens next week. And if this goes through, it's a really big deal, not just for us, but for the whole crypto industry, the 50 million Americans who hold crypto, and I think for the rest of the world, because this is an important signal about where things are going. Now, ultimately, we still need to get legislation for crypto passed in America to codify some of these rules and make sure the industry can get built on shore. But if this goes through, it's still a very important legal precedent that rights a wrong that was taking place over the last few years, where the SEC unlawfully, in my view, decided to attack or even try to kill the entire crypto industry by suing lots of different companies, including us, claiming that many of these crypto assets were securities. Now, they did this despite there not being any law indicating that that was the case. They didn't publish any clear rules to the industry. And in our situation, they actually had allowed us to become a public company just a few years prior, where they looked at everything we were doing and our listing standards, and they got comfortable enough to allow us to become a public company. So we should not forget how close we came here to a few bad actors in the government actually going off and trying to kill this industry. I remember in 2023, a lot of people were advising me on this, and they were saying, do not engage in litigation with the SEC. It's going to cost you tens of millions of dollars. It's going to put downward pressure on your stock price. It's going to spook public market investors. And, number three, the SEC might fight dirty and pressure other companies not to work with you, which unfortunately did happen in a couple cases. But I think the thing that ultimately gave me the courage to do it was
what we're looking at. We're
number
live
one,
on
I knew
YouTube
that we were
and
right on the
TikTok
facts and on the law.
Twitter right now.
Number two, if we didn't stand up to this bullying, it might have been the end of the crypto industry in America, because not as many other companies had deep pockets like we did. And ultimately, we had to spend about $50 million defending this case. And number three, we needed to stand up for our customers' rights. They weren't doing anything wrong, and they wanted to use this technology. This is America. I wasn't going to let some activist, regulator come through and try to make up new laws that didn't exist and take away our customers' rights. So I'm really proud of where this case landed. I hope it creates a domino effect in other cases that the rest of the industry is experiencing.
Yes.
And we're never going to stop fighting for crypto and freedom.
All right. What are your thoughts on what he said? It's pretty much the same.
Yeah, I didn't hear any of that because I have my headphones plugged into my phone. And so I was trying to hear it. I didn't hear any of it. So what are your thoughts?
Okay. Well, I think it's, it's a long time coming. It was, there was lots of, this was a long battle from Coinbase, and I'm thankful. I don't necessarily think that Coinbase is like the good guys. I don't know that there's any good guys, so to speak. However, but I am grateful that they did stand up to the SEC when push came to shove. And it was a long battle. And here we are. By the way, if you're watching on TikTok, we are live on YouTube and Twitter if you want to see what we're talking about and hear what we're talking about as well. All right. The $5,000 stimmies are heating up. The reporter asked about the DOGE dividend checks. He says, you say 20% goes to taxpayers, 20% goes to debt. Where is the other 60% going to go to? And so here's a video on that.
Well, so Stephen, we're hearing about these DOGE dividend checks that would be 20% back to taxpayers, 20% to pay down the debt. 60% is left. Who gets that?
Well, the way that it works is when you achieve savings, you can either return it to taxpayers, you can return it to our debtors, or it can be cycled into next year's budget, and then it just lowers the overall baseline for next year. So in other words, you can just transfer it into the next fiscal window and then lower the overall spending level. And that means that you can achieve a permanent savings that way, and that reduces the deficit.
And when is it that people might see those checks?
Well, this is all going to be worked on through the reconciliation process with Congress that's going underway right now. As you've seen, the Senate's moving a bill, the House is moving a bill. The President has great confidence in both chambers to deliver on his priorities. I would just take this opportunity to note that President Trump has made a historic commitment to the working class of this country to fight for major tax relief and major price relief. And cutting spending, as DOGE is doing, and cutting taxes is the key to delivering on both of those promises, and President Trump is resolutely committed to doing both.
Thank you. And on Ukraine, I guess this is...
Put 60% into Bitcoin. Okay, so like at first I thought it was much ado about nothing, but you know, the more time that goes on, the more that things seem to be heating up, and I find it very peculiar, especially like, you know, me, like show me the charts, I will tell you the news. It's very peculiar to me that right after we had what I'm calling the equivalent of the modern day C19 crash, we have the exact same sort of like injection into the market, even if it's a reverse way. What are your thoughts on that, Alex?
It's you know, it's funny. It's just we've talked about this before. We just don't really care about news events all that much because we're just all right. We've been through this before, just like you said, with things like the COVID crash, with things like major liquidation events, and then what comes after that is a move higher and a chop for a few weeks and then another leg up. And so it looks like there's lots of potential catalysts for another move up, you know. And so is it the catalyst that's going to get us there, or is it just this is how the charts are playing themselves out? Whatever the case, I'm here for it. And $5,000 per American household, I'm assuming, is a thing that will contribute to that for sure. So cool. But whatever the case, I was ready. We've been ready for what we both think is coming up is a significant move higher in crypto.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you. Show me the charts. I will tell you the news. It looks like Alvarez is on his way in here. He popped in for a second and then dropped out, so he might be having some technical difficulties. But either way, he should be. It looks like he's figuring out. He should be here soon. People have been asking about Alvarez. Moving forward, it should be me, Alex, and Alvarez pretty much Monday through Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All right, moving along. Michael Saylor. There's only room for one nation to buy up 20% of the supply, and I think it should be the United States.
There's only room for one nation state to buy up 20% of the network. And obviously, I think it should be the United States. I think it will be the United States. It's a way for us to enrich ourselves and emerge as a creditor nation in a matter of a decade. It's also a way for us to ensure that we're the economic leaders in cyberspace and the digital economy for the next 100 years. And if we do that, every one of our allies will follow us, and then all of our enemies will end up having to buy into the network once it passes 10 or 20 million a coin, and they will enrich us.
So there you go. What are your thoughts on that, Alex?
All right, I'm going to be honest with you again. We need to work through this in the future. I don't know if I'm going to be able to give thoughts on specific videos that are played in this live stream. However, it's what I mean. How is the United States going to be able to process selling to pay off the debt if they're going to purchase 20% of the Bitcoin supply? Because, you know, $1 billion of sales in a given day, they'd have to, after purchasing 20% of the supply, they'd have to sell multiple billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin every day. And it's like, that's going to cause some pretty wild price action. I mean, sure, if they were to buy, even like they're not going to be able to buy 20, no one's going to be able to buy 20% of the supply, but if they were, that would be very bullish short term. But then when it comes time to pay off the debt, that would cause a massive sell-off. And I don't know if that would be a net positive. So
The United States is going to rug, bro. The debt rug.
I mean, really, yeah.
The United States rug, bro.
There's only room.
It's over.
They'd have to think of a creative way to do that. And I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, I think it's 2029. I think it will happen in 2029.
All right, 2029.
Well, whether or not the United States passes the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, there's some serious momentum happening right now with the Utah Bitcoin Reserve, and theirs has actually passed the Senate and one step closer to being actually put into law. And I think that this is a big deal.
Yes, it's a thing. It's another thing. All right, Utah, not a very big state in the United States. However, it's gradually but suddenly an entity of sorts, whatever you want to call the state of Utah with their budget, buying Bitcoin that has more money than any of us, and so some Bitcoin will be removed. And this is long term. It's not just we're going to make profit, roll it into altcoins. This is an acquisition of Bitcoin that's going to take Bitcoin off the table, which is what we've been calling for years. And it's crazy to see it actually happening. So bullish for sure. The things add up. That's bullish. Exactly right.
The things add up. Yeah. Everything is something. Nothing is everything, but everything is something. And, you know, every day we wake up and there's just more and more bullish news, and retail sentiment is at an all-time low. And I said this yesterday, like me and you before the live stream, we said that we think that alt season literally is starting today, right now. And, you know, and what I said yesterday was, someone asked me, I think it was Chris. I don't remember who asked me, but they asked me about, like, you know, what is going to change. And they asked me about the sentiment. And basically what I said was, like, even though we're basically at the same price that we've been at for 3 months now, I would argue that right now sentiment for retail is the lowest it's been since the Japan cuts. We had maybe more fear when the Japan rate cuts happened. I think that there was overall more fear in the market. However, just like a exhaustion and a despair and a giving up hope moment, I don't think that there was a stronger moment of despair in retail since we had as of yesterday. And with that, go ahead.
I would just say it might be even worse, because at least in August, you know, we still had this hope of, all right, well, 2025.
Right. That's
here
true.
We are in 2025. Yeah. And so wait a second, we were supposed to go straight on rockets starting January 1st, midnight of January 1st. Okay.
Burning the midnight oil.
Yes.
All
right. So yes, Devin and I did talk before this live stream about both of us. You know, what I say in particular, alt season starts today. I don't know, man, but here's the deal. I posted this on my X account. Whatever I have on the sideline right now, I have, you know, something like $15,000 in my Coinbase account, just sitting, even like in my Robinhood account, whatever, in different wallets that are just sitting in stable coins. And here's the deal. I've been nibbling away these last few days at different altcoins. I bought some Rose, I bought some Polkadot, I bought AOs and XYO this morning. And whatever the case, there's going to be some pretty significant buying over the next several days here. And I wouldn't be surprised if all of that was into crypto, into altcoins. And I know as I'm talking, one of you is going to be commenting, "Oh, but bro, Bitcoin just dumped. It's under $98,000." I'm like, guys, I don't care about right now. I don't care about like this second. What I do care about is just a lot of evidence, a lot more evidence that I'm seeing that that the time is near. And I want to be clear with you guys, because I know that most of you, for some reason, look at me as a bear, even though I've been bullish this entire time. Ever since that liquidation wick, I have been saying that 3 weeks of chop or so, maybe a little bit longer, and then the next leg up is most likely going to be higher. I have a little bit of a change of tune right now, and I would say that it is very, very likely, instead of most likely, it's very, very likely that this next leg is going to be higher. There's been lots of things that have informed that. I posted on my X account again watch the blockchain backer most recent video, and he talks about structurally what this looks like after, again, the altcoin market dump was bigger than the COVID crash for altcoins, not for Bitcoin, but for altcoins. That was a bigger liquidation event than the COVID crash. And he looked historically at every chart he could find for an example of, after something like that happens, a break to the downside. And he literally could not find a single example where we had something like what we had and then a break to the downside. And he was mostly focusing on XRP, comparing XRP to Ethereum historically, Litecoin historically. After that liquidation event, it's not that there's like one or two times in crypto history. There's 0 times in crypto history where we, in this market, at this time in the market, where we have broken to the downside. Okay, so what is, and then where have we gone historically? Well, historically, we've gone much higher. And so I have Ethereum here as an example of what this might look like. And if you want timing, sure, let's just say until May or something. I don't know. I'm going to let the market lead me. But what this might look like, I have a fib chart from the local top down to the bottom of the liquidation wick. And what could happen, this is Ethereum's market cap chart, mind you, is a market cap of $1.25 trillion within the next few months. And so, okay, what does that mean? $1.25 trillion. That's a little bit over $10,000 for Ethereum. And so what other, off the top of my head, I need to do a lot more analysis in this, but what other crypto targets could we be looking at here? It's $8 XRP, $5 Cardano, 4-cent minimum he. Okay, I didn't think about Solnick, I'm sorry. But, you know, much higher is honestly, that is my opinion. After we break out of this chop zone, is much higher, and that, I'm sure, sounds much different than what you've been hearing from me lately. But I'm sticking with that. I'm very confident in that.
Yeah, I think did I officially flip Alex on our last live stream?
Absolutely not.
Man, no, but I think, and I've been saying this for a little bit, on a lot of particular coins that, you know, have low to no inflation, good fundamentals, good charts. Those are the 3 major criteria that I'm looking for. You know, man, it's like you have 2022 price action or 2022 prices with the 2025 risk. And that to me is a completely different thing. Of in 2022, you had FTX, you know, in 2022, you had, like Luna went to 0. In 2022, you had all of these terrible things that were going on. And we don't have that right now, but in a lot of different projects, you have the exact same price action, like with Rose and ADA and all these different coins. They're XYO, they're at their bear market lows, just the same that Bitcoin was during this time.
I want to add on to that. I mean, I pulled up the Rose chart. It's my chart still on the screen, right? Oh, hey, Alvarez, what's up, man? Hello. Let me just finish this thought. I'm quite convinced that we're going to look at these prices where they are right now, and we're going to be kicking ourselves. This was me after the breakout in October of 2023. Is I was just flat out kicking myself. I thought I had more time, and I didn't buy and then you see what happened after October of 2023 was just like, you look back and you're like, oh man, these charts, these prices that were at such extreme values. I'm looking at the Rose chart right now. I bought some Rose, and I think, give it a few weeks, what we're going to be doing a few weeks from now is just absolutely kicking ourselves. He still thinks Bitcoin's going to 12K. I don't know who you're talking to about that.
No, he's talking about 1UP, which is my I don't know who your guy is, but yeah, he thinks that, yeah. That's my bear on my channel. What's up, Alvarez, bro? You made it.
Yo, man, what can I do when I can sit in salon offices, like, being a star in this area now, messing around. Like, it's good, man. I'm just checking out the space here. It's been a bit of a roller coaster type of thing, so I've been late to everything. So I apologize for everyone for being so late. But yeah, it's awesome, man. This is a really cool space that we're sitting in. I'm going to be doing a bunch of interviews and all this kind of stuff. But I cannot miss this opportunity to chat with you guys as well. I mean, I heard a bit of what you guys said, and I really do agree as well. Like, we are in a very key pivotal point in the markets, especially with I don't know if you guys talked about this, but the DXY falling, the fact that in the FOMC minutes they're talking about, pulling back the quantitative tightening that they're talking about. A lot of things are working in the favor for this thing to start moving up, and I agree, it's real buying opportunities right now, real buying opportunities. The only thing.
Hey, could you join us on TikTok? Alvarez, could you join us on TikTok?
I can't join you on TikTok, unfortunately. I can't join you on this way because of everything's set up for the interviews I'm doing later on today. So all that stuff is unfortunately.
Okay.
So what I was gonna say is that, or I can just join on TikTok if you want. I don't know what would be the better way to do it. It's up to you.
Stay
guys.
Here.
Yeah, just
stay here. Right. So the one thing I will say is that the spot buyers really have to start kicking into the market right now, because this pump that we're getting right now, I think is the bears taking profit, and the normal spot retail and institutions have to start stepping in to really start pushing this up to the higher levels that we need to get to, because we're still at the pivotal point, in my opinion. That's where I think we are.
Yeah. I would like to point out one thing too. What Alex was sort of talking about was the sort of I'm gonna mute you just for a second, Alvarez.
Sure.
What Alex was talking about briefly was how he said blockchain backer sort of was talking about there just hasn't been a moment in crypto ever that has existed when you have the mass amounts of liquidations and then you go lower. Like, that's not how the apex predators work. And I would argue, like, you'll be hard pressed to even find that in any market. Like, you don't have, because there's no more money to grab once you've already grabbed it to either to the upside or to the downside. If we had a 50% move on Bitcoin tomorrow, like, guess what? There's no more liquidity to grab in Bitcoin to the upside. And the same thing happens when you have $20 billion wiped out from the market in a day. There is no more money to grab. And so I've been saying that for a little while. I like how he, really broke it down on the, so we have Alvarez. I don't know if you want me to invite you on TikTok. You said no.
I did I?
Okay. But yeah.
Did I don't know. I'm here, so yeah. I mean, I could. The thing is, like, I could join in on TikTok as well. Sorry, I know there's technical difficulties. I apologize, guys. It's weird, like we're in the Solana offices, but internet and connection is an issue. It's
Alvarez is at the actual Solana. What is it? Solana UK Foundation. Is that right?
yeah. So this is where I'm at the moment. We were at the offices, and now we went back to the communal workspace where all the major devs, all the creators, where everyone mingles and sits together. And I'm going to be doing pretty much every week, every Friday, coming here, interviewing, seeing where the future of Solana is, seeing where the future of where everything is going to be moving, and hopefully, you guys will be joining me in these type of interviews that will be happening in the future if we get to that, and this show will get to the levels where we expect it to go to. So you guys should definitely join in and make sure this is like a weekly type of thing. Anyone who's watching this thing forward.
Yeah, that sounds
Definitely.
good.
So yeah, that's the thing.
You dropped on
saying,
you dropped on my,
should I just join on TikTok? Should I just join on TikTok so we can have a clearer move in that direction?
I think it's fine right now. I just I think so in the future we're gonna have like more of a regular setup. Alvarez is at the Solana Foundation, so he's kind of just impromptu kind of popping in here. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's going to be more of a regular setup for the three of us. I do want to touch on one thing briefly on what Alvarez kind of alluded to as well that people aren't even talking about is the DXY, is just absolutely getting crushed right now. And, we have just crossed below the 100 moving averages on a clear downtrend right now. And this is a key catalyst for the rest of the market. What we want for alt season to really take place and to really happen is we want Bitcoin dominance to fall off a cliff, and we want the DXY to fall off a cliff. And these are stipulations that seem to be happening right now. What do you guys think? You dropped from TikTok, by the way, Alex.
Yeah, I just left TikTok. It's not going to work with if not all three of us are on there. It's just not a good viewing experience. So I'm cool with just YouTube. Sorry to those on TikTok, but DXY, I'll answer that question. DXY. I've made content about this. I know Alvarez has. I'm sure all three of us have. I mean, the thing that made me turn bullish on November 10th of 2022. I mean, if you watch my TikTok from November 10th of 2022, that was within 24 hours of the bottom. And what was I paying attention to? I was paying attention to the DXY. I mean, that is how significant of a thing the DXY is in all of our minds, is that when we see the DXY go down, that is a sign that risk on activity is happening a lot more than, of course, when we see the DXY go up. If you look at every major euphoristic phase in crypto history, it is paired with a major move down in the DXY. And so I look at a chart like what we're looking at on the screen, and that's just even. It's not that I'm sitting here I'm even more excited or anything. It's just it's more data. It's more data confirming exactly what we're talking about. With it's soon, okay? I'm not promising tomorrow. We're not promising Wednesday of next week, but soon, where we're going to be looking at these prices from February and thinking, man, if you didn't buy, or I missed out for sure. So,
hey, on TikTok, real quick, I'm going to go ahead and do the same as Alex. So listen, we are live on YouTube. We are live on Twitter right now. If you guys want to see everything that we're talking about, head over there to now. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream because it's not going to work for today. We'll be live back on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. All right, guys. Yeah, just I'm with you. It wasn't working for TikTok today, which is fun.
Yeah.
Dude, I have not been this bullish in the market. Like, I've been generally bullish, but it's just like we wake up today and sentiment's at an all-time low. The DXY is crashing. Bitcoin dominance seems to be putting in a lower low. The Bitcoin strategic reserves are getting passed. The Coinbase lawsuit is dropped. There's stimulus checks that are being talked about and getting some serious traction. It's just like no one thing is the thing, but my God, is everything lining up. I feel like Kronk from Emperor's New Groove. Like, oh yeah, it's all coming together. Oh man,
Yes, sir.
you're gonna say something, Alvarez?
Yeah, I'm gonna mute myself after this, so I understand why you're muting me. All right. I agree with you. But we also forget that MicroStrategy is having a stock split coming up the end of this month, where their investment profile is moving from 300 million to 16 billion, right? And they are the main drivers of the investment to Bitcoin at the moment. That aligned with strategic reserves in states, with the crypto czar saying at the end of his interview, the first thing we're looking at is a Bitcoin reserve. On top of that, there's going to be and imagine on top of this, you're looking at the fact that the US might be doing a strategic reserve as well. That will then be followed by every other country in the world. You then follow up with also sovereign funds looking at Bitcoin, and pair that with the fact that there's only 21 million Bitcoin. There's only 2 more million to give you produce, and every exchange is running out of Bitcoin. There is everything that is pointing for this thing to go parabolic. But when is the issue that we're looking at this present moment. Time is the factor that we need to play with, because those things need to settle and slot into place. And when they do, it's going to be like a domino effect where everything is one after the other going to be hitting into the market. So these small little dips that we're seeing right now are things you're going to be really forgetting about in the future. That you're not even going to remember these moments, and it's going to be one of those real buying opportunity moments that everyone really should be looking at. This is the thing. Short-term FUD is the thing that you should be moving away, and that's the main reason why most people don't make money. They just are not patient. Patience is the killer of all profits. I'm telling you.
100%.
It says the markets are bleeding a bit right now, and that's what me, Alex, and Alvarez are all alluding to. Is like we are not analyzing what's going to happen in the next 7.3 minutes. We're more so looking at what's going to happen over the next 7.3 weeks, or the next 7.3 months, or even the next 7.3 years. Bitcoin testing consolidation channel, like it realistically, like what we talked about too, Bitcoin's in a range. It's been in a range. It's going to be in a range. And every time it's at the bottom of the range below 95K, sentiment sucks. And every time it's above 95K, sentiment is awesome. And I anticipate that to be the exact same. But I'm just saying, from a fundamental standpoint, from a fundamental standpoint, from a sentimental standpoint, I think that we are ready, and we are really setting up for something pretty amazing. Why do stats wait for all-time high? Start a strategic reserve.
Yeah, I think the pullback a little bit right now is because of the Bybit hack. That's what's going on right now.
Yeah, the Bybit
going on in the market right now. So everyone is just again hyper news focused reaction to everything that happens, as if that's going to be the end of this market. I don't get. People need to move away from being so reactive to news and actually understand the greater macro aspect that's coming in the future.
He says, confirmed hack. Listen, I am very careful to call things a hack because so many times what we call a hack is a whale was careless with their funds, and it got wiped via a phishing attack. And that's not a hack. That's not the same thing as a hack. So I'm very careful to call things a hack. So I don't know. I need to, I don't know what the exact story is, what the exact details on this, but allegedly that's what's happening right now. But either way, again, there's just not that much liquidity to grab. Even if it is what is it? What'd they say? 1.4 billion of outflows on Ethereum. Okay. So what does that even look like on the Ethereum chart? Are we making a lower low at this moment in time? No, we are not. So what are we talking about? Like you have a scary moment like that, and we're still just a trend is up.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
I don't care about the Bybit hack. I mean, this is the first I'm hearing of it. So, okay, you know what? We'll experience some pain for the next 48 minutes, and then who knows what about after that. It's there have been much scarier things that have happened, like I don't know, tariffs and the United States and what was that DeepSeek? I'm already struggling to remember the name of that AI that was supposed to kill all, just supposed to bankrupt all of us. And all right, we're just gonna move on. Let's just move on.
What rank is even Bybit, like as far as like large, like how like I don't even think, what are they, like a medium size? I don't even know. I don't think it's this like
I feel like they're pretty big,
thing.
but I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it as well. I'm on here we go.
So also what I also find is what I've been tracking these exchanges, right? And they're just using the rinse and repeat tech aspect that they're doing, where there's some sort of negative news, usually a moment where they can somehow try and grab some sort of liquidity somewhere. But I do agree with Devin, like the amount of liquidity left is, there aren't much left anymore of these plays that people have been trying to utilize, hitting the 20-30x of a.
Yeah, and that's I have this entire chart called trade the news and you will lose. And I've just never seen whatever is presented to us as what is taking place, what is transpiring. I've never seen it be what it actually is. Like,
yeah, sorry about that. There was an announcement as mid conversation about
yeah.
Anyway, that's not all right. This is a carbon neutral space, so everything has to be returned. Anyway, but beside that, but what I was sorry, I didn't mean to cut in, but look, it's these past things that have been happening, these big dumps and everything else, have been pure forms of manipulation. In my opinion, it's complete in every sense of the word, right? Because these movements happen at a time where there isn't mass trading, there isn't institutional trading going on, and it causes they use this type of algorithmic selling, which causes a sell-off, right? And these things are just, if they see a bit of liquidity somewhere, and when this graph is moving back up, Bitcoin is moving back up, people just bash 20-30x longs, and that's getting less and less and less and less. And so these news effects are going to be less and less as well. And this is the thing that people need to really understand and not be so hyper news reactive. Because so what if it got hacked? So what? So what? What is crypto over now? Is that the end of it? Was Bybit the key holder for the crypto universe? No. It just gives you another buying opportunity. Fantastic, great, let's go. Let's buy something a bit cheaper and then add to it and accumulate and move forward, because we all know where this is going. We just have to stop being so hyper reactive to news. And I think that factor and the wiping out of all this liquidity is getting people to understand that it's not good to be reactive in that way, and to be more intelligent, clever, and look at things that actually make well in that level.
Yeah, it says 1.5 is still a lot regardless of Bybit's ranking. Yeah, it is a lot, but you know what it's less than? It's less than the 20 billion that got wiped out like 3 weeks ago. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
But we don't really know what it is. We don't have any details.
Yeah.
Yeah, in what way?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So many times people call something a hack that is like, it's not a hack. To me, a hack is something hard. Like algorithmically brute forces something in a way where it's like, bing, we got it. And that's not what happens. A lot of times we call a phishing attack which is the same that has been in existence since email has been a thing, we call that a hack, and that's not a hack. That's a phishing attack. It's a different thing than a hack. And I think when we call things hacks, when they're not hacks, what we do is we are not impeccable with our words, and we also bring fear, unnecessary fear, to people who are unaware of how the blockchain actually works, and uncertainty that doesn't need to be there. Says all the nonsense that all the nonsense about the tariffs had very little to do with crypto, and it tanked. Now we are back. Exactly. Like, I think people just have this sort of like notion, or they're uncomfortable with, the chicken coming before the egg, so to speak. When I say show me the charts and I'll tell you the news, I think people are uncomfortable with the fact of like Alvarez was alluding to, these exchanges, they just have algorithmic market makers that take profits and do stop losses at certain price points. And we want, as retail, we want a reason. We want a rhyme and a reason. Why is it happening? Why is it up today? Why is it down today? What's the story? And in reality, the story is supply and demand. If people are buying more than selling, then the price goes up. And if people are selling more than buying, then the price goes down. And that's really as simple as it is. 402 ETH was transferred out of Bybit wallet. Great. That means it can't be sold.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about the comments of thank you for that information. Okay. 402,000 ETH was transferred. Okay. I would love to just to move on and look at the charts. And the big thing when I hear that 402,000 ETH was transferred out of the wallet, okay, let me look at the ETH chart and see if this is really a concern. Ethereum is down 0.47% today. Excuse me. I'm not going to be concerned about 402,000 ETH being transferred out of the wallet if Ethereum is down 0.42% today. I'm sorry. I know. I think we'd get a lot more views if we were just right on this channel right now, just freaking out and pulling our hair out and being like, oh my goodness, guys. Oh no. 402,000 ETH were transferred out of Bybit wallet. We run for the hills, everybody. Everyone sell now. Sell, get out. It's over. That's not us. You want to go on another live stream and talk about how much ETH was transferred out of wallet and scare those, everyone could just freak out. Go for it, man. It's just, we've been around the block a few times to know that that's not something we're going to freak out about.
Man, looking at your chart specifically, I don't know what time frame you're on. That's still the DXY. Okay, never mind. I thought you were looking at it.
I was about to say. No, yeah.
Never
mind.
No,
Ethereum. I mean, I'm looking right now at Ethereum on the daily chart, and it looks good. Looks like 2717 is a good level to enter, and it probably will hold moving forward. And then the big thing is once it breaks the downtrend and does a back test, it's game on. And when's that going to happen? I would guess sometime first week of March, but we'll see.
Do you think ETH is finally going to make a big move? I think so, like relatively, whatever you consider a big move to be. I think ETH gets above $7,000 pretty conservatively, and I could see it getting, to 10,000 in a parabolic scenario, somewhere in that range. If you consider that to be a big move, I would say that is on the horizon for Ethereum.
I would say with Ethereum. All right, carry on.
No, go ahead, please.
No, I was going to say with Ethereum, sometimes a better play on Ethereum is ETH beta plays, because Ethereum is a real utility blockchain. So that's I would say one of the only chains where when the actual chain rises in value, all the things on it rise exponentially more. And that's always the case that I've seen when ETH does a 5-10% move, all of the other ETH beta coins go absolutely parabolic. So if you want to have exposure to ETH, yeah, it's a great thing. I think the future of crypto is going to be ETH based, but without a notion of an understanding. But if you want to see potential good gains, look at things that have a real good, relative strength against Ethereum. It's a parent coin, and if you can find those ones that have good relative strength towards it, when ETH moves, they are really, really, really going to move. They will go parabolic when ETH starts going back up.
So I have some examples, but I'd love to hear what are some good examples that people should have on their radar.
Flux.
Okay.
Quant.
What do you think, Alvarez?
I have one that you might like. I really do think, like I would say there's two, right? One especially, I think Pendle is a very, very good play.
I was going to say Pendle.
A very, very good ETH beta play, because when ETH moves, Pendle moves insanely. Like its movements are wild when it starts going up because of the TVL that's locked on its chain. When ETH moves, this thing goes. It's amazing. 10-20% moves on this thing is not unheard of. And if you want to play real degen, look at the narratives, and if you want to play like in the meme coin aspect, look at the narratives on ETH that have had a good strong movement according to it. I mean, you also have to look at Base network as well, because Base is actually an ETH, what's it called? It's an ETH chain, aspect as well. So you look at those things that are there. So things like, I mean, I really do like things like Andy and Brett. I think will do very well once this thing starts moving around as well. And Pendle, I think Pendle is a dark horse. The reason why I say Pendle is a dark horse is because no one is talking about it. No one is talking about it, and it does crazy moves when ETH moves, right? And so when it does its SR flip and breaks its all-time high, everyone's going to start talking about it. And if you compare it with its only competitor, in my opinion, it's going to be one of the RWAs is going to win. That's Ondo. Everyone's talking about Ondo. Everyone.
Yeah.
And if you look at the graph, the movements are very similar, and no one's talking about Pendle. This is the thing. That's my opinion, anyway.
Yeah. I was thinking Pendle, somebody commented Pepe and Pendle. Pepe does well when Ethereum does well. It's kind of interesting. Ave's one that sticks out. Ave's been very strong, and so I don't know how much more upside it has. You're not getting a 10x out of Ave or anything like that, but if you want good solid returns, I think Ave is a good play. So
I think you could get a 5x out of Ave. I don't mind the chart on Ave. I think Flux is on Ethereum. I mean, maybe even XTC. I like XTC where it's at. I'm trying to pull up the Pendle chart. Someone asked about where is it at in Wyckoff. I would say that I would say it's in accumulation. I would say that this is phase E or phase A or B of accumulation is what I would say. This is your markdown, a selling climax. We'll see. Yeah. What's your target for Pendle?
Me?
Both of you. What's your guys' target?
I mean, I gave in 2024, I gave a price target of $57. It's probably too aggressive. That's too aggressive for the first half of this year, at least. I mean, and then we'll see what happens over the remainder of the run. We have differing opinions on that, but like I am very, very bullish on Pendle for reasons that I've explained for a year now, and people are probably tired of me explaining those reasons on my channel. And again, yeah, Alvarez, you're really the first person who I haven't had to ask who's brought up Pendle, and so very few people are talking about Pendle, and it's a beast. It has tons of TVL. It has major backing. I think it's got a lot of room to the upside, but that's not from a purely technical standpoint. That's just, I love Pendle.
With tight, yeah, I'm on the same note. Like the TVL aspect of it is insane. There aren't many coins that have that much locked in its ecosystem, which is incredible. The one thing I will say with Pendle and giving targets for me are a evolving thing. It's hard to give a target
Yeah.
on anything because one crazy bullish news can blast through that target, and one small FUD can absolutely destroy it as well. So, but I think that between the RWAs, it's the top one of the top contenders. It's one of the two. One of those
Yeah.
two are going to do, and I still think that there is, in my opinion, all right. I like to go in the levels of maybe a 5x. That's where I'm at because the thing is,
Sure.
the reason why I say maybe a 5x is because when you look at the actual progression of the total market cap and where we are on the actual relation to that rainbow curve that we look at, if we just follow it at where we are is literally still accumulation. Like we are nowhere near the top of that curve, and just follow that down towards the end of the year. The market cap of crypto is 5.1 million. And if you equate that to normal altcoins, that equates to roughly about a 5x that we're looking at on all these coins. So I like to say that as a way of giving a indication of where something can go, because technically you can never tell. I mean, think of it this way: if the U.S. government all of a sudden said, you know what, we're going to start making transactions in crypto and ETH, then who knows where the top is? It genuinely gets to that type of level. And the fact that we're so hyper reactive to news and utilization and things like that, and TVL and locks and everything else on Pendle, I think it really is a sleeping giant. I really do think it's a sleeping giant. I don't even know if they even do a marketing, to be honest. That's how crazy it is about it.
Yeah.
No one's talking about this thing. No one. And
I think
sorry, I would just say, and what's also really incredible is that it's gone through what I as a good litmus test for coins is that it's gone through an unlock of billions of dollars. So this project has given out billions of dollars and then recovered all the way back up again without any issue. For a relatively new coin that's gone through a test like that, those are the things I really like in resilience in the coin and everything else on that level. That's my 2 cents on it. But Devin, please go.
So my target is about $16, $16 to $20. I think it's reasonable, which is about a 5x. Says I think Ski isn't as sold on Pendle compared to the other Alex and Alvarez due to inflation. Can you guys discuss the inflation, please? So let me just pull up their FDV on Pendle. I'm not even sure off the top of my head what it is. So yeah, the market cap is 569 and the FDV is 5.28 billion. What are your guys' thoughts on that? That seems to be some work to do as far as that goes.
I was trying to remember when I do my price target videos, I look at all of that. I look at forward looking, you know, what's these unlocks look like. So off the top of my head, what unlock process looks like, you know, and so I can't give specifics into, all right, you know, that's 10% diluted. When's it going to be 100%? Is it going to be 100 years from now? Or is it years from now? If it's 100, that's a major concern. I don't remember, can't remember every piece of data in my head. Look, I don't even know how to explain this. So Devin, if that's your screen there, coinmarketcap.com, if you look at the all-time chart and then click on price versus market cap, it's kind of weird. What do you do with that?
Definitely is weird. This would almost look
deflationary.
Yeah, it almost looks deflationary, even though it's not. So, yeah, I think that is weird. What do we do with that?
So the way that Pendle works, right, and this is why that inflationary factor is a key factor. the Pendle actual RWA factor is giving a yield on locking your coins in the ecosystem, right? So that those unlocks that you get is a periodic yield unlock, and that's why when you look at the graph in that manner, it looks deflationary in that aspect. Is that the more products that they provide, and the more periodic periods of lock that they do, the unlocks are staggered throughout the year. So it's not like how some inflationary coins have these unlocks that gradually build up as we go along. There are static periods of time where it moves, and that's why it looks deflationary, because it's not like how you have a burn in a company where it's constantly burning its token to pay for employees and this and the other. It has a real world aspect that pays for all of its workings, and the yield that it gets a percentage yield from what they're giving. So that's why the TVL is so important of Pendle, and that's why when you just look at the market dilution and where it is, it looks very inflationary, but the way it's done it is because look, don't forget, there was also this thought about Ondo. Ondo is also inflationary. Ondo has an inflationary aspect to it, but the way it's doing it is over a long period of time. And if there is momentum behind the coin and they have the marketing as well, then that will overcome the inflationary aspect of a coin to an extent, especially the way it's unlocked.
What is the average yield that you get from Pendle? Like, what is like a range that you've seen from low and high?
It depends on the product, because what they do is that they have a smart contract aspect where it's various different products put together that brings a certain yield out. But the last one I looked was pretty good. Like, I mean, the last one, it was like 13 or 14% or something like that over a period.
13 or 14%. Okay. So from my perspective, there's like a threshold of where I'm willing to tolerate a company giving yield, and then at a certain point, like, you are the yield. So that's pretty close. Definitely anything over. Go ahead. Definitely anything over 20% to me is that's when it starts getting pretty bad. Someone asked what my target is. I'll give you my low, medium, high for Pendle. It's 10, 16, and 20. That's my low, medium, high, which is, I mean, that's still a 5x plus, which is, you're crushing against the stock market. But the inflation is, I don't know. I think it's just something to keep an eye on.
So one thing I will explain though is that it's not yielding in the same way that you would yield by staking in a coin, where they just give you, supply as a way of you staking it to help the floor of a coin. This is giving yield from real world investments. So this is why it's such an interesting project, where you're staking your products within their ecosystem. They utilize that and work in the real world. So they're earning money. They're actually earning a profit outside of the project. So it's a utilization of two things. That's why it's a funny real RWA, not what you would expect in a natural form of what an RWA is. Oops, sorry. Like gone in that direction. So it's an interesting aspect. If you look into the way the model works and the way they work, it's actually a really interesting thing. It's not a product where you can actually just look at the tokenomics for it to make sense, in my opinion, anyway.
No, see, now you sound like the XRP army. I don't know.
I'm down with it.
Excuse me, XRP is not used. All right, let's not get into this. They call me an XRP. This is used. This is actually real world aspect that they're using. They made, I think last year they made profit. I think last year they made profit of $28 million dollars or something from their thing. Profit, not from the actual value of their coin going up, but actually utilizing it in real world. There aren't many projects that can do that. That it's completely separate to their coin and their network that they're attached to.
I mean, that's okay. Listen, I don't have to. This is the cool part about our show. I'm still like, I think Pendle's going to perform well. I maybe not as bullish as you two are. I have some concerns, but that's okay. That's what makes our show awesome, is that we're not living in an echo chamber. We don't all have the exact same opinions. I know me and Alex differ on when we think that the bull market will last to and all this. And I think it brings a great dynamic to our show. I know Alex is sick. So I think he's going to step down. So I think this has been a great episode. Any final thoughts for everyone?
So, I mean, hey, you guys can keep talking if you want. I'm dying right now. And I know I look like just this beacon of health, but I'm literally dying. Okay, not literally, but I mean, we're all dying. I can't go on. So, hey, you guys want to keep talking? By all means, go for it. But I will not message you. And if somebody messages you, do not redeem. I saw a lot of those videos yesterday.
No,
it's so great. Yeah. So I'm sorry, guys. I tried going live yesterday. I lasted for about half an hour. I made it an hour today. Progress, but we'll be back on Monday. And Alvarez, I'm ecstatic that you're here. I love hearing your thoughts on stuff, and looking forward to what the future of this could look like.
Yeah, so we will be live. I mean, I don't want to speak for Alvarez, but I think we've kind of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, about this same time, we should be live. And if things go well, we keep picking up steam, we might bump it to Monday through Friday. That's going to be up to you guys, but we should have the TikTok thing fixed. But either way, like, the better viewing experience is going to be on YouTube and on Twitter anyways. It's just going to be our talking heads. And for me personally, that's all I'm going to do from now on TikTok, because I mean, it's a battle every day. So it's just only going to be my face on TikTok from now on. I'm not showing you guys my charts, because every time I do, I get suspended, and I'm not dealing with it. But yeah, that I got to bounce as well. That's going to be it for this time. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube and Twitter and TikTok. None of us are going to message you first and say, thank you for calling AT&T and how may I direct? No, we're not going to do it. We love you. That's somebody from Pakistan or Kakistan. It's not us. All right, guys. Peace, love, prosperity.
Likewise, man. Yeah, guys, thank you, everyone. I apologize for being but it's one of those weird days for me. That's the thing. So I'll from now on,
one of those
for
days.
Sure, I'll be more of a, yeah, it's one of those days for sure. But yeah, I like this, man. This is a cool show that we're doing, and I think that we can really help a lot of people. 3 minds, man.
3 minds.
All right. That's right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for everyone as well, and having me on board on this. And we'll catch you guys next time.
All right. Peace, love.